Hi everyone, this is Famira and welcome to Blabbing with the Besties. I'm one half of the Besties, Famira, the Brand Diva, your visual impactologist, and my other bestie, M.E. Porter, the soul shifter, is not here with us today, so I am holding down the show and she may be joining us a little bit later. But I'm excited because we have another phenomenal guest here with us on today, and make sure I'm pronouncing it right. It's Daniela.
Daniela, right.
Daniela Gabrielle. I am excited to have you here with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. So I'm going to let everybody know just a little bit about you. I have your bio here, and I've been following her on social media for a while now. So this is exciting for me to actually be able to sit down and have this conversation with you on today. But for those of you that may not be familiar with Daniela Gabrielle, she is the transition entrepreneur. She is a best-selling author and motivational speaker, and she's the CEO of MOTIQUE Dream Development Company and its multiple subsidiaries, founders of Movers and Shakers International Network of high-performing professionals, director of marketing and communications for Emory University, dining and rising television producer and on-air personality. She has embraced her purpose-driven assignment to empower and equip high-performing professionals and leaders through education, business, and entertainment with her message, Life in the Faith Lane. And so I'm excited. She is currently in Atlanta, Georgia, home of the other bestie. That's where she lives too. So we have ATL in the house. So I have told what the paper says, but I like to always start and ask you, but who do you say Daniela is?
Wow, that's a pretty interesting question. I just say that I'm a passionate person that lives to see other people get their life in the form that Tamar Braxton would say. I just live to see other people walk in their dreams and really embrace who God's called them to be. And that's the essence of me, is just wanting to see people live their greatest potential and just really like tap out, you know.
Awesome. Well, on Blabbing with the Besties, we just like to have candid conversation just to kind of let people see the behind the scenes type of thing when it comes to entrepreneurs and really encouraging people to continue to go for their dreams. So people hear Life in the Faith Lane. Exactly what is the message behind that movement? Because I know it is a movement. Like I said, I've been following you for a while, but for those that may not know exactly what you mean by that or what you're doing with that, can you explain a little bit more?
Absolutely. Life in the Faith Lane. First of all, we just believe there's no success without God. And so we can have dreams, we can have visions, we can have goals, but when we don't have a spiritual foundation and a spiritual guide to get us there, we, tend to get off path. And for me, I had taken this huge leap, came off my job, started this business, I moved to Florida, and I was running a couple businesses at the same time. And I was trying to do it all based on my head knowledge, like what I learned in school, what I have from my experience and things like that. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, stuff's not working out. And then I realized that when I aligned with God and what God's purpose was for my life, and I let him navigate things, that I got more accomplished, I got more done, I saw more success. And then I was even able to handle times that people would call failures a lot better. And so the movement has really just been empowering people to learn how to build their own personal relationship with God that empowers them to walk with him, not just at church or not just in a prayer closet or, in those traditional ways, like, oh, I'm reading my Bible, I'm rocking with God, but really for real, rocking with God in every step of the way, at work, with your family, with your kids. And so that's what the movement is about, is giving people the tools so they can get where they need to go, including God in that process.
Awesome. Well, we I don't know if you've gotten to check out any of our other episodes so far, because this is episode 9. I can't believe it. That we're on episode 9 already. But we definitely always give God the glory here on this show. And, and a lot of people call him by other names and all of that, but we are all about Jesus on here. Yes. So, so this is like right up our alley, and I so wish Bestie was here because I know she would love this conversation. But when you're looking at walking in this entrepreneurial journey, as I say, because, you know, it's not as easy as people like to, you know, think that it is, because a lot of times people see the upside, they see the
Right.
result, the maybe the middle of the journey or the end of the journey when things are going better, and you know, and people are making all this money and doing great things, but they don't see the struggle and what happened before all of that. And so
Right.
so I know, like, for me, I've had, you know, tons of pit stops, tons of, you know, detours and all of that. But what do you say to the entrepreneur that's getting started that may be right in a detour right now, or might be feeling like they're keep hitting roadblocks? What would you say to encourage them to continue to move forward?
So the first thing I would say is you got to stay connected to the big vision, no matter whether you're on the road and the pathway that seems clear, or if you've taken an exit on a detour. I mean, I'll tell you now, I'm sitting here at Emory University on the campus right now on a lunch break because I'm on a detour in the process of building my companies and running all of my companies. And so you have to stay connected to the big vision, and you have to learn that even when you're in the detour, to begin to ask God to allow you to see how it ties back to the bigger vision. And as long as the detour ties back to that, sometimes you have to detour off to get certain things that you need that you can't foresee that you'll need in the future. So tying it back, staying connected to that big vision, and not losing sight of the bigger picture. As long as you tie those two things together, it'll give you the momentum that you need to stay encouraged and to stay focused.
Awesome. And so you're new to the Blab platform, aren't you?
Yes. Very new.
This is exciting because we've been having a lot of our people that have been coming on that are new to this platform. And so I love this platform in regards to being live streaming, and people are able to watch you from all over the world. We get a lot of our viewers that actually watch the replay, you know, and watch after the fact because it is noon. And so, you know, a lot of people that do tune in during the week are usually on their lunch break because they are parallelpreneurs. You know, they still have that 9 to 5 and they're still doing their business and growing their business as well. But when I click on your picture, it gives you props. So you'll see my see the picture show up, you know, every now and then. So that's what that's about, when you're saying something that that I agree with, or I'm basically like high-fiving you, so that you would know what that is. So you're not like, what's this? What's this?
I saw it going up too, because I'm like, yes, honey, that's me. So I love it. So now I know you're going, yes, girl.
Pretty much, yeah, that's exactly what that means. So awesome. So loving that. So one of the things we like to really kind of keep it real on is asking people, what do you feel like, especially for women, because our platform, we talk to everyone, but our biggest audience is mainly women that watch our show. And I know that our struggles and our journey in regards to having business is a lot different, and it looks a lot different oftentimes than men for various reasons. But of course, in this month of Women's Month, you know, we want Women's History, definitely want to talk about things that you feel in business that are unique to women, that women struggle with the most. What areas do you think, or that you see in what you're doing, that women really seem to have, you know, struggles with?
So, I mean, the first one that comes to mind is balance. And so, you know, it seems that it's a little bit easier sometimes for our male counterparts to say, hey, wife, hold down the family, wife, hold down the kids. And then they go and, you know, they're going forward in their business, and that's kind of taken care of. But, you know, typically when it comes to the woman, whether she's married or single, I'm personally a single mother, you get into that place where it's like, you know, I have to manage the kids and the household and the business and everything else that we have going on. So I think that's usually the toughest thing, is just getting a grip on the balance and letting go of the guilt. And managing the guilt is probably even bigger than the balance, because a lot of the things get off balance because of the fact that there's that guilt of like, oh, well, if I go do this business event this weekend, then I may not be there for my child's thing, or I may miss something else. And one of the ways that has helped me is to learn how to include my daughter in my business. And so I find things that she loves, and she's passionate. She loves fashion. Like, she is a fashionista. So she styles me. She helps me pick out my outfits. She goes with me and does kind of those types of things that she enjoys doing. Allows us to stay connected and still be together. And I don't have to feel that heaviness of the guilt of, oh my gosh, I left my baby home all day long while I was helping everybody else out in the world.
Right. And I think that's awesome. I think you said something very profound that a lot of people don't even necessarily, it's not that they wouldn't, but I don't think that a lot of women even think about that. And that's the fact of including their children in the business. I don't have any children personally, but, you know, I do have other loved ones that I do still recognize that it's very important to bring them on board, understand what the plan is, what the plan is, you know, what the timeline looks like, you know, for wanting to accomplish different things, so that, you know, everyone's kind of on one accord and people can get excited. And you know, most of my clients, you know, oh, we lost her. I don't know what happened. Click back into the seat when you can. Looks like you exited out. But like I was saying, it seems as though, you know, people, it's easier when you can have the women to actually bring your children on board, let them know what's going on. You may miss a game, you know, you may miss a recital here and there, but if they understand the bigger picture, a lot of times you'll find out that our kids will understand and be okay with it, because they know that you're pursuing your dreams and it's allowing them to do the same. So I don't know what just happened. I see her giving me props, but I don't see you in the seat. So can you hear me, Daniela? Do you still see me? Here she goes. I'm like, what happened? Here we go. Gotta love technology.
There we go. I was trying to give you yes, and I lost it. Sorry. Still working on this.
No problem. I was like, should have kicked herself out the seat.
Right.
But yeah, so I think that that's important. So I wanted to kind of stay there for a minute, because I think that a lot of times women don't give themselves permission to pursue their dreams because they use their children or their families as more of an excuse than a motivation to really move forward.
That's so powerful that you said that. I mean, for me, going into full-time entrepreneurship and like really full throttle, so I had a lot of good ideas for a long time. And I'd be like, I'm gonna write this book, I'm gonna write this book, I'm gonna write this book. And then one day I looked at my daughter and I asked her what she wanted to do, and she told me, and then I remember thinking, she was like 9 or so, and I remember thinking, gosh, if I don't do the things that I'm called to do, how am I going to look at her in, 7, 8 years and say, hey, you need to go to school. You need to go after your dreams. Like, it's not going to resonate, because she's going to look at me and go, you didn't. And I wanted to give her that best example. And when we realign, I think, our mindset that when we pursue, we give other people power to pursue too. So it actually ignites other people to be like, wait a minute, if Famira is doing it and M.E is doing it, Daniela's doing it, wait, I can do it too. So we really empower people, and when we use them as excuses, we actually take away their power and their strength and their motivation, which is not what we really want when we look at it from a new perspective.
Right. Definitely. I definitely agree with that so much. And that's, part of what I do. I always tell people, yes, I'm a branding specialist. However, my message to the world is for women to show up and stand out. And so I just happen to do that through the vehicle of branding and helping them do that with their business. But I just feel like we're supposed to do that on all levels. Yes. And it's not easy, because it's not something that I just have always done. I think part of the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because I haven't, always done it. And it's in that time of mistakes, or, of playing small, or trying to be, I hear women say all the time, I'm just like the busy bee. I like to be in the background, and that's fine, and we are called to do that sometimes, especially for specific seasons in our life. But there's also times when we're meant to stand up, we're meant to stand out, we're meant to be in center stage, and participating in life and doing those things that we are called to do. And I think that it's, it's easy for people to get complacent and comfortable with playing small. Do you
Right.
find that?
Yeah, especially women, we're really bad about that. And like I said, once again, we use the excuse, we hide behind other things. And I always tell my clients, it's okay to be great. Even on my job in our department, we have a big whiteboard, and I wrote, it's okay to be great. Like, you know, what we don't realize is that when we shine and we show up in a big way, light reflects light. So if I have a big light and you have a big light, it makes a brighter light. It doesn't overshadow the other light. It brings more power. And so, you know, just being able to bring that energy to each other, we empower each other and we multiply, and, you know, we see exponential growth. And that's how you change the world.
Right. That's so good. That's so sweetable. It does not overpower the other light. It makes the light brighter. That's so true. And it's so funny how when you think of things like, and naturally, when you're going to a room and you have on one light, you're like, oh, I need more light. You turn on another light, but you don't cut the first light off, right?
Right.
Light on, you cut the other lights on. So it makes so much sense. But, you know, a lot of times, you know, we don't look at those things. Like some things seem so simple that we just tend to overlook them and, you know, and keep, you know, doing the same old thing, which is, of course, the definition of insanity. Thinking we're going to get something different and we're doing the same thing all the time. So yeah, so that makes so much sense. But I want to kind of talk, more about just the spiritual aspects of really bringing in spiritual things into the marketplace, right? Because I find that a lot of times as believers, we are, and I say we because I have done this from time to time as well, are nervous about sharing the fact that, you know, that we love God and our stance on God in the marketplace, because we feel like it's going to turn people off from us. They're not going to want to work with us and different things like that. And especially when you're in build mode for your business, it's like, I don't want to miss any money. And so how do you work with your clients to really show them, no, you can do both and still be successful?
So I think the first thing is really helping people get to the heart of their calling in business, whether they're in business or even in the marketplace. You got to get to the heart of the calling and into the meat of what God's called you to do, and understanding that creates an atmosphere where you can be uncompromising about who you are. And so I think that's the first thing. And then sometimes I think we mistake bringing God into the marketplace with our words and with our actions. So we try to function the same way we do within the four walls of the church outside of the four walls of the church. It doesn't work that way. So, you know, we bring God into the marketplace by being an extension of God's grace, being an example of God's love. Those are the ways that we show up in the marketplace, and we become apologetic. And so, you know, in the marketplace, depending on who I'm working with and how I'm working with them, I might not show up with my Bible, but I am a walking Bible. The word is in me. It flows through me. And so with my clients, I let them know that this is my foundation. So when you work with me, most of my principles are founded in the Word of God. And I give them a choice. Like, you know, I can take you line by line as we go through it. Or if you would just like the principles, we can just apply the principles. And I give them that option. When I do things on a larger platform, I usually just make sure that things are open so that all people feel welcome and comfortable, but they understand that my root is in the Word of God. My root is in Jesus. And but it's not that wins them. Even the Word of God says we win about lifestyle. And so it comes in our lifestyle and our fruit. So really, if we want to bring God to the marketplace, it comes down to, are you getting stuff turned in on time? Are you integral about your word? Are you kind and have good customer service? Are you wasting people's time, or are you being, you know, diligent about the time? Are you walking in integrity? Are you walking in your truth? That's really where you see the miracles, you know. And so it's not about, ooh, how you doing? Blessed and highly favored of the Lord. No, your lifestyle will emulate blessed and highly favored of the Lord. Your fruit will show up and you don't even need it. You know what I mean? And so, but that comes from our private time with God. And so we have to understand that our private relationship with God will automatically show up in physical places. Like even I've gone in and done secular trainings and workshops, and people will go, I felt goosebumps, you know, like I felt something heavy in the atmosphere, you know what I mean? And it wasn't that I busted out with a scripture. Now, mind you, half the stuff that comes out of my mouth is usually scripturally rooted. But, you know, but I'm not like, oh, John 3:16 says, you know, and I'm just talking, but that comes from my private encounter with God. It is released when I come and I interact with people. So if I had to give people like 3 steps. Number 1, you got to have your own private encounter with God. You can't take people where you've never been. Number 2, you have to learn how to be an extension or an example of God in the earth realm. And number 3, you got to stay rooted to your truth and stay in your lane. So we talked about life in the faith lane. It's not just about being connected with God. It's about knowing your lane, knowing your gift mix and flowing there. I don't have to try to be everything to everybody. I'm just going to be who I am. I'm going to flow in my lane. I'm going to work with my tribe, and I'm going to trust God to show up, and then God can send them out to do more work.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's so true, though. I think that we overthink things as human beings. We overthink things a lot, and I can say that because I'm an overthinker. And for me, like being a creative and a thinker just like magnifies the level of which I overthink things sometimes, because not only am I overthinking, you know, steps and this needs to be in order, you know, what am I doing next, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm also overthinking, well, this is how it looks, but I can make it bigger, you know, so it becomes overwhelming sometimes. So that is so true. I think that, you know, sometimes we do overthink it, and we make it have to be more than it really needs to be. It is, you know, about the example. It is about our characteristics. It is about, you know, how we treat people. And it's so funny because I have another show called Babes Who Brand, where I have candid conversation with other people that are actually in my industry, you know, other women that essentially, you know, all schemes of the word do the same thing I do pretty much. Right. And I get so, you know, I've gotten so much flack a lot of times from having a platform like that, because people are like, how are you bringing people that are doing the same thing you're doing to a platform, and you know, you're cutting down on your potential for clients because they may see them on your show and decide they want to work with them and all these things. And I'm just like, but why would I not have a heart of collaboration, or not have a heart of including my sisters and allowing them a place to have voice? Because, you know, that's what the word talks about. So it's like, right, why would I not do that? And, you know, and people, a lot of times they don't understand it, and they just don't get how I'm able to do it and not be afraid that it's going to affect, you know, me. And I'm just like, you know, at the end of the day, what's for me is for me. And, you know, and those people that are destined to work with me will work with me. And I don't get caught up in the competition, which is another thing that I find is, you know, very prevalent with women. And so I would love to take a minute to segue into talking about how we can really push the message of collaboration over competition.
That's good. I mean, I think that I love what you're doing with the branding. I don't even know if you know that that's kind of how I started, was in branding. And then God's just been maneuvering over the years. I started as a graphic designer in the Air Force. Like 15 years ago. And so, and God's just been maneuvering, but even in the Word of God, it tells us how good and pleasant it is for us to dwell in unity. He talks about it's in that place of unity that God commands a blessing. And so, when we're comfortable with ourselves, we don't have to worry about competition, because I personally believe that we all have a tribe. And that's what I teach my clients. We all have a tribe. First of all, you don't want to work with people who don't fit your tribe. You know what I mean? Like, there's a Famira Green way. You know what I'm saying? There's a style. There's a way that you work with people that resonates with a certain tribe of people. And when you get with that tribe, you become better. You function better. You flow better. Your designs are better. Your creativity creativity flows better because there's a connection that's there. And so what collaboration does is collaboration creates a platform for connection. And I think that's the thing that people have to understand. It creates a platform for connection, so then you can connect with the person who resonates the best with you. And when you work with people who resonate with you, you get the best out of them. And so when we try to, take everything for us, that's when you end up with difficult customers that you don't want to answer the phone. They call you, be like, I don't want to talk to you because you drive me crazy. You're a little insane. But, that same customer, I might be able to say, hey, Famira, I have this customer. This is what she's looking for. I saw the stuff you do, and it kind of flows more with you. And you might have that same customer or client and love them and have a great relationship. And now they have a good experience. And so it goes back to that exponential growth and multiplication. Like, you can't multiply if you're doing everything on your own. And I learned that the hard way. It fell flat on my face, was exhausted, tired, and broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, one year I put out all these books and was broke because I was dealing with clients that I probably should have outsourced to other people, was trying to do everything by myself. You can't get it done, not if you got big vision. Now, if you want to be a small business owner, have at it. But if you're trying to build an empire, collaboration is the only way it's going to happen.
So true. And I think that that's what I tell people. I have been a full-time entrepreneur for 1.5 years, almost 2 years now. I've been in business 2.5 years. And I know that I wouldn't be where I'm at without collaboration. I have just that's always kind of been me, which is so funny because I'm an only child, right? So people always think it would be the opposite. But I always tell people no, it's because I always wanted sisters and brothers, right? Because I was the only child. And so I always wanted sisters and brothers. And so for me, community and, having collaborations and having those connections are very important, because it's a part of my personality. Like I long for that. And so I've always been one that's like, what are you doing? How can I help you? Jumping on other people's platforms and creating my own when no one would invite me. That's okay. Right. I'll throw my own party, invite all y'all to my party,
Yes, girl. Yes.
Type of thing. And I know that it has definitely made the difference. A lot of my business comes from referrals, and a lot of those referrals are from people that I have done collaborations with in the past, and that they're, they'll run into somebody and they'll be like, oh, I know the person you need to get with, and they'll, send them to me. And so it is so important. And I think I definitely know that that's part of my message too, even though I don't necessarily verbalize that, collaboration is part of my message, but I always end up talking about it.
But you demonstrate it. You demonstrate it in everything that you do. So you don't have to say it when you do it.
Right. Definitely. So, and it's fun. To me, it's more fun. Like, I could be on here talking by myself, but what fun would that be? It's more fun when you have, people to be able to have the conversations with, and to be able to share experiences with. And, and I had that same experience when I first got started, and I think a lot of times we get, especially as women, we get caught up at looking at the money because, especially now, there's a lot of more marketing around, oh, I made $5,000 in a day, and I made 60 grand with my launch, which is great, and and a lot of times it's true, and we all want to do that. But I feel like a lot of times the focus is only on that, which is what creates the hindrance of people not wanting to collaborate, because it's like, oh, I'm trying to make this money, like so and so made money, so I got to hold on to everything. And you do end up with those clients that you be like, why I want to just give you your money back. Like, why am I even working with you? Type of thing. But if you would have had a network to say, I don't think that we're necessarily a good fit. However, I know the perfect person for you. Let me introduce you to them. Because I think that gives you more credibility too,
right,
when you operate in that vein, right?
It does. It does. It might not. And what set me free was one of my mentors, Chris Mackel, and one day she did a session on firing your clients, and I was like, "What? You can fire clients? Like, you can do that? Like, you really do that?" And she talked about that. She talks about really becoming centered in who we work with, and being okay with admitting this isn't a good fit, and just really getting clear. So like now, I have my ideal clients. I have their, I do the little build client profiles for them. I'll keep them up and in front of me. And when people come, into, my network or to my events or whatever, and they want to work, I'm looking at that profile to see if they fit. And if they don't fit, now I navigate them to other people who I think would be a better fit for them. And like you said, I've noticed that it comes around later. Like I might outsource them and say, hey, you should check out this person. I think they'll be better for your project. But now I've also built trust with them. Yes. And so now they trust me. So, we might not do that, but we may do something else down the line, or they may have somebody and say, hey, I think you'll like Daniela a little bit better than so-and-so. Why don't you go with Daniela? So we build trust too with people. We think we're going to throw a product out there, throw a business card out there, and we're ready to make money. I have clients like that all the time who are just like, why is my product not selling? And I'm like, you got to build a relationship with people before you expect them to buy from you.
Right, exactly. I have that conversation so often, with my clients as well, in regards to social media,
right,
form of media, right? And it means that you're supposed to be social, so you have to sit there and socialize, like one of the other branders that I love so much that I follow is Kimra, and she made a comment one time on something. I don't know if I was reading one of her posts or I'm on her mailing list, so it may have came in an email, but she had made the comment in regards to, you would never go to a party and just sit in the corner and then be mad because people didn't talk to you. Like, you go into a party, like, you at least would talk to one other person. Like, even the shy people, it's like when you go into an event, you go in saying, okay, well, let me see if I can find like one person that I can kind of vibe with, introduce yourself. You may not necessarily be a social butterfly and just be, flowing all around the whole room, but you usually end up connecting with that one person that you're like, okay, I feel comfortable. I can have this conversation with this person. But you get on social media and you put your post out there, and then you just expect everybody to come flocking to your post. Like, no, like, go to somebody else's post, say hi, comment on somebody else's, and I get a lot of clients that are frustrated because no one is communicating with them on their fan page. And I'm like, well, how often do you go to other people's fan page and converse on their pages and on theirs? And they're like, no, I just hit like. Well, that's why all you get is likes, because that's all you get. You have to put out what you want to get back. It's, reaping and sowing is a law, like it's a law, of reaping and sowing. And so you can't expect all this conversation on your page when you're not willing to go talk on someone else's, so it's so true. And it seems like a very common sense, topic or idea, but people don't think about it. We don't really think to do that. And so that's why I absolutely love connecting with people, because I'm like, hey, what's going on over here? I used to be very, very shy. I am still introverted, which is like always a big surprise to people, because they're like, we never would have thought that, seeing you doing the shows or seeing you on stage and stuff like that. I'm like, but when this is finished, like, I want to go take a nap.
I'm the same way. I'm a huge, you put me in a room with a bunch of people and I have to push myself to talk and engage and interact. Give me a microphone, that's a whole nother story. Right. But so I feel you. Like, I really have to challenge myself and push myself in that area. And for me, it started, like, I used to be in pulpit ministry, and I remember people used to tell my pastor, they're like, she preached real good. Like, she preached good, she prayed good. They was like, but she don't talk to nobody after church. And I remember being like, my pastor was like, this is not going to work unless you learn how to engage and talk to people. And I had to learn how to make it my domain. So I learned how to make small places feel like places of comfortability for me. And so it was like, I learned to look at it like, okay, you came to my church. You know what I'm saying? You visited my church today. So I'm not going to feel uncomfortable when I talk to you, because you came to it's like coming to my house. Right. And I started in small little sectors like that. And then I would do it when I'd go to Chamber of Commerce events. And I always have to remind myself of that. Like, okay, when you come into my presence, you're coming to my house. So, hey girl, you know. and just, build on that. So I definitely understand that feeling.
It's so true. But it does go to the, like you said earlier, trust. And we hear people say all the time that people do business with people they like, know, and trust. And and I always add to that, and remember. And if you're quiet in the corner and you're not telling anybody what you do or what you have going on, no one's gonna remember you. So even if they did, have a brief conversation with you and they was like, oh, that person is cool, I like Daniela, and trust you, if you don't give them something to remember you by, it still doesn't matter. Because when someone comes to ask them about, a faith-based coach or, branding coach or whatever, if you haven't made an impression and made them remember you, they're not going to think to even refer you. They're like, I don't know nobody in that lane. Or they're going to think about somebody that has made themselves memorable, right? And so I think it's so important that we stress that, because I think a lot of times, especially as women, we get so wrapped up in, we want to be watching everybody and what everybody's doing, instead of, like you said, like being in our own lane and being strategic too, and just navigating different situations to make sure that we're setting our own selves up for success with our business. So I cannot believe that it's already like 10 minutes to 1.
That's what happens when you meet friends.
I know. It's like when you have good conversation like this. Like,
right. It's like, I've known you forever, right?
Exactly. And that's what I love about connecting with people, because it's like, even on social media, it's so different. You see people's posts, and like I said, I've been following you for a while now, see posts, you comment and things like that. But when you get to actually have this type of face-to-face, even though it's video, that's the power of like live streaming and of platforms like this. You're really like, oh, okay, I get to, all right. So now when I'm doing something, it's like, oh, now that I had a conversation with you, is definitely different. And, you have to put yourself in those types of situations to have this type of experience. And so I'm just so grateful for it. But I want to make sure we don't get to the very end without letting everyone know, how can they get in contact with you? What do you have going on? What's coming up? What can we be looking out for from you? And just let us all know what you got going on, girl.
Awesome. Well, there's a lot going on. First and foremost, this year, our theme for the year is Greatest Comeback Ever. And so we have been working with those who are in a place of transition in their lives to help them to really dig deep and have not just a little comeback, but like a big comeback, like totally life overhaul, better than you've ever experienced in your life comeback. And so every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a free conference call called Sunday Night Reset, and we talk about different, like how to reset your mindset for the week. It's built on faith-based principles and practical know-how. At the end of it, we give you just, little tips so that you have a challenge for the week that you can be a part of. We have a Facebook group called the Comeback Cave that you can look up in Facebook and join. So virtually, when we're on the call, we talk, we interact, we post videos throughout the week. It's a team of us, and it's just our time to empower people to walk in their greatest comeback ever. So that's available. Second thing is, if you're looking for a mentor, one of the things I love to work with high-performing professionals. So those who have big vision, big dreams, or who are leading systematic change or want to lead systematic change in the marketplace. Each week, Monday morning, I have a mentor in your inbox that comes. It's an email, and it's just a mentoring email that gives you tips, instructions, tools so that you can really just grow into the professional you want to be. You can go to mentorinyourinbox.com and sign up for that. It is a free program. Right now, we're just in a season of sowing and pouring. And so that's really what we've been focusing in on, is just sowing and pouring into the community right now. So those are like the two best ways to really connect with me. Our website is inthefaithlane.com. And one of our biggest tools that I really encourage people to get is we have a book called Profit in the Faith Lane. And most people think about it as get your coins, and we do want you to get your coins, but it also helps you to project your revenue, your personal development, your spiritual development, helps you to project your giving for the month. It gives you tools so that you can actually hold yourself accountable to it. It has confessions, and every month has a prophetic word that speaks over your month. So So it gives you that spiritual foundation with the natural tools. I use a lot of the same techniques that I use working with Fortune 500 companies to build their marketing plans. That's the tools that we use for the revenue plans in it. And so that's available on inthefaithlane.com. I'm on Facebook. It's Facebook, Chat Danny G. Instagram is Daniela Gabrielle, and Twitter is Chat Danny G as well. So I'd love to connect with you guys. I'm always on social media, just loving people to life. So thank you, Famira, for allowing me to be here and just chat with you and actually get to talk and have a conversation in person. So you're just as fabulous as you were in my head.
Oh, thank you. That's great. That's what I'll be trying to do. So it's so funny that you said that, though, because that's what I always tell my clients is that when you finish working with me and you get your own clients, that's what you want them to say, right? When people meet you, whether it's on stage or on a platform like this or get you on the phone or whatever, that they're like, you're exactly how I imagined you based on everything that you're putting out. Because it really speaks to the authenticity. So I love hearing that. Thank you. So
Brand on fleek.
Yes. So I also want to let everyone know that I also have a 14-day challenge that will be starting March 13th called Brand on a Mission. It is a 14-day to take you from brand mystery to brand memorable, where I'm really going to show you and pour into you 14 different things that you can do to really become visible on social media. It's all about social media focus and online focus. So between your website and social media. So it's free as well. It will be taking part in your inbox partially as well as on Periscope. So you can register for that at bit.ly/brand on a mission. And I hope that you will join us for that. And so as always, you can reach the other bestie, M.E. Porter, at her real estate home at www.marilyneporter.com. And you can check me out at mine, which is actually under construction right now. We're doing a little bit of decorating on my on my website. So if you go to it, you can join my list. It is famiragreen.com and stay connected there. But it is under construction. I'm revamping everything. So I'm excited. I'll be relaunching my website here shortly, hopefully just in time for the 14-day challenge. So that's all. Next week, we will be here with another phenomenal guest joining us for Biz Blabbing with the Besties. We thank you for joining us every week, Tuesdays at 12 noon. And before we go, I just want to make sure, did you have any parting thoughts you wanted to leave us with, Daniela?
Just as you go about your day, I just want you to remember that it's okay to be great.
I love that. It is okay to be great. Be that showstopper, center stage person that you were designed to be. So you all have a great week and make sure you reach out to us on social media. Stay connected and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.